Hello everybody, welcome to Example of Play. This video is part 2 of my playthrough of the tutorial campaign in Combat Mission Final Blitzkrieg. If you like this video and want to see more like these, make sure you hit subscribe. So this mission is the fourth mission, and I believe it's the final mission of the tutorial campaign. And it's kind of bringing it all together. You had the first mission in the previous video. You had the first mission just teaching the basics. Then the second mission, you launched a little small scale attack. The third mission, defended and attempted a counterattack. And then this mission now is a bigger version of the last mission where we are attacking, trying to take this little village right here, this part, and then that part, and then hopefully the road over here. But based on the mission briefing, we can expect a German counterattack at some point. This mission is an hour long, and I played the previous three missions in real time, and so I want to do this one in turn-based just to show how that works. As I mentioned before, it's slower just because the way it works. Basically, the scenario, you'll set your orders, and then you hit go, and then the scenario plays for 1 minute, and during that minute, it's basically like you're watching a movie. You can't change anything, you just have to see what happens. With the upside being it changes the pace of the game to be a little more calculated. Like you have to kind of think about what you want your guys to do because you're not going to be able to change whatever orders you give them. You can't change your mind if things go bad. But it does take a little bit longer because you're stopping every minute to issue orders. Though you won't always change all the orders all the time. You will still have to stop and think about it. It's great for playing multiplayer because it's we go, not I go, you go. We both go at the same time. So if you play another person, you can kind of like send turns back and forth, and the game has a system for that where you can set your orders, they set their orders, then you both see what happens, set your next orders. It works really well. And then also the other benefit is you can go back and watch each turn, each minute. You can play it back if like something cool happens, or if you missed what happened at some spot, you can go back and see. So that's nice. But anyway, we'll hop to it. In the previous video I pretty much explained all the basic controls, so really the only thing different here is how the turn-based system works. Because I didn't play the last few missions the greatest, parts of our force are depleted since those units carry forward. Like this team's only got one guy left. Um, a lot of our units are depleted, and we're short a couple of tanks. But this mission does give us some new infantry, some new tanks, and then at the 15-minute mark or 15th turn, we'll get additional force, another platoon of infantry, another platoon of tanks, and some tank destroyers. So thinking about how we want to conduct this attack, the map here is by far the biggest of the training campaign, but it's kind of an expanded version of the last map. We have a couple avenues of attack. Now, obviously over here, this is all wide open ground, not any good for our attack. Um, there's is a tree line extending out to here, but past that, there's just absolutely no cover out there. If we look at the elevation, it's kind of like maybe if we get some guys in some of these spots, but no, not really. So pretty much that left flank is useless to us for attacking. Up the middle, we've got buildings and stuff to give us cover. We got some trees, some lines of bushes. So there's something to work with here. Probably not this middle area. That's not great. But over here on the left-hand side, yeah, if we could get our guys up and on the line here, I'm gonna switch to this mode. It just makes the camera move a lot smoother. And you just see the trunks of the trees that are near you. If we, yeah, use the buildings as cover, get up to these bushes, and then we kind of work our way into these buildings and work our infantry up through there. Still some open ground here, but we can at least get some squads up in there a little closer, going from cover to cover. And then on the right hand side, This is a little too much open ground here, but there is these trees that could at least get us kind of close. And then probably our most obvious avenue of attack over here. We got all these trees to work with, and just the lay of the ground here. We can get them down in this low ground, and they can set up a base of fire all along here, and we can move under the cover of the trees over here. It'll be kind of slow going, but very safe as far as taking fire, because just, yeah, the village can't even see these guys over here. If we're moving over here, there's this hill in the way. So definitely this would be a route of advance, but we can guarantee the Germans are going to be defending up in there. Our concerns, really our first phase is, yeah, to get this central area, take that, and then the east side of town we have a bunch of wide open ground to work with, but hopefully we can clear out this forest, move up through it. Really getting to the road through the forest makes the most sense, because even if there's German armor coming up the road up here, our infantry will be safe coming through the forest and can engage them at close range where they'd have an advantage. So really, it might make sense to push up through the forest first. I don't know if anything's going to come from that direction. If we look at the tactical map, so where the green arrows, yeah, it's just got us moving straight ahead. So it seemed like the German armor came from that road in the last mission. They came from that way, so we can think probably reinforcements are going to come from that way. So yeah, as I'm thinking about it here, it probably would make sense to try to push some of our infantry with anti-tank weapons up to here if we can, just to try to cut off that road if the AI rolls some tanks down the road. And then if we can secure that, then we can secure that objective, this objective, and then taking the east side of town is probably easier than trying to take the east first and then go over there. We've got a little bit of scouting on the Germans. We can see they're out there. We know they're probably here. According to the briefing, even though I didn't pull it off in the last mission, we destroyed the command post that was right here. We'll say we just shelled it. But there's probably Germans all scattered through the village here and up into this part too. We have a target reference point there. So for the first turn, I'm gonna see, do we have that anti-tank gun that we had in the last mission? It was placed beautifully right here, which was a great spot where it was in cover and could see everything. Now we have a forward observer there, which is good, but I don't know if we still have the anti-tank gun anywhere. Looks like we do not. We do have some tanks, and they have to start over here. They can't start further up. We have a bunch of mortar infantry who have been fully reloaded, so we've got 100 HE rounds for the lighter mortars. And we have some 81 millimeter mortars that are somewhere on the map. And then we got some a howitzer that we can call in from off map, which we probably want to do that at the start. It's got 140 rounds, so we have a decent amount of artillery support. I would say we want to make sure these guys are all deployed. Those are the medium mortars. Where are my light mortars? Okay, they're right in here. And these guys are deployed. I don't like that they're all on a line right here. If you're playing against a human player, they would probably, yeah, wipe out that whole line. AI, they might drop artillery on them, but they might not think to hit the whole line. But see, since these guys are here, they're the light mortars, they can just use direct line of sight to. I'm gonna let them just attack targets of opportunity. They're pretty good for that. And I wish we had more of our infantry. This is a full platoon over here. I'm gonna move this scout team they can go with them. This marksman can go with them. So our main push to start here until our reinforcements arrive. Main push, I'm going to try to work this infantry platoon up into here and around into that forest, because from that forest, if they get in there, they can fire down into the village, and then also they can then push up this way. I'll use these guys. They're going to just kind of, yeah, work their way, see what they see, and then try to work them up into these houses here. And then hopefully when we get reinforcements, we can get those guys up to the front. I wish we had that anti-tank gun. That would be nice. And these guys, since they are the scout team, they're going to get the lucky assignment of being the first ones down the hill here. And everyone else is just going to stay put to start. And one thing I don't think I mentioned before was tanks. One thing about moving them faster is that they have, I believe it gives them a higher chance to like bog down or something if it's on a muddy map. Or like this one is snowy, which we haven't seen any tanks bog down so far, so it might not be too much of a concern. But having them move slower is basically safer, but usually doesn't matter too much. But I'm going to have these tanks just move up the road here to get ready. These guys, since I want this to be my assault force, I'm going to move them around over to this side and move these depleted ones over to the right hand side. And then leave that machine gun there to cover their advance. This guy, I'm going to set him to have a short arc because I don't want him to fire. I want him to kind of be scout up there. See what he can see without drawing attention to himself. And finally, have this observer. I think is my only forward observer on the map. He's going to call in the howitzer. And then the question is, if we can only call it in on one target, do we hit the central town, where we think there's probably some scattered units? Do we hit east part, which there's probably tougher opposition there? Do we hit this tree line, or here to kind of clear that out? There's probably something back there too. I think we'll go with, for them, doing a little prep barrage, because I almost surely there are some, we'll do kind of a medium personnel, so there's probably almost definitely some machine gun teams scattered around right there. So we'll see what we can do to that. And then we'll also have the mortar, the medium mortars kind of hit a lot of these other spots. We'll let the light mortars do their thing, just fire what they want, and then we'll have the medium mortars hit suspected enemy positions.
Fire mission request. Over. Request fire mission out.
All these spots where it looks like there are some scout reports that there's some units there.
Request fire mission over. Request fire mission out. Requesting fire mission over. Request fire mission out.
And this last one, we'll just put it right on that building, since it looks like there is a machine gun team in there. The 81 millimeter might not be enough to take down that building, but it'll shake them up. Alright, now we'll hit go. It'll compute. You'll notice, like, once the action gets heavier, you can tell where that computing the turn will take a little bit longer. In the old combat mission games, it was always funny. You could definitely tell where a tank fight was happening because it would slow way down. It would like stop at certain spots and jerk around, and you knew that was where it was calculating like tank rounds hitting and stuff. All right, so interestingly, something we immediately see. There's some assault guns over here. Looks like a couple Stug 3s parked up there on the hill. That is a problem that will need to be dealt with. And the only unit that sees them though is, or well, the forward observer. This one sees that one. Machine gun team sees the other one. Alright, so that was 1 minute. We could back it up and watch it some more, but there wasn't much else to see. Main thing we learned right there was that we've got these guys to deal with. I called down that personnel artillery airburst, so it's not going to do any damage to those probably, but at least knowing that those are there, we know our tanks. Now those are assault guns, so they're not really meant for tank-on-tank fighting, but they're certainly still dangerous. So we'll pull our Shermans up here, but we might wait. I don't know if we want to wait the full 15 minutes for the tank destroyers to get here, or try our luck with the Shermans, but we might creep them up here. You can kind of be a little cheeky. You can say, well, these guys sent a runner over to the tanks and told them, hey, there's a tank right there. And I could creep them up here and give them like a target arc just right on that spot and hope that they spot them first. And that could totally work. We'll see. Hard to tell if any of our other efforts are going, but these guys made it down here without getting shot at, so I'm going to send 2 of the squads on in, since that scout seemed to make it down without too much trouble, and then leave the other guys to cover. Over here, it's a little bit more questionable. We're going to let the artillery fall another turn before moving out of cover there, since they're way more exposed. Alright, we see some nice big rounds hitting over there. The 81mm rounds hit a lot harder than the 60mm mortars. Man, that was almost a direct hit right there. That would have been lucky. Checking on our guys over here. Not getting shot at. That's good. We want to keep them intact as long as possible so they're at full strength, because they'll almost certainly have to do some fighting through the forest over there. Another turn without too much going on. We look, we can see those mortars are done firing. They're going to fire for 1 more minute. After that initial barrage, I might have him try a point barrage on that tank. If they don't move, we might get lucky and take them out with artillery. And I could, so this is our, some of the tanks are the Sherman, so these are all Shermans, but if you don't know, not every Sherman is made the same. This one is a jumbo, so they have extra armor, but their gun is the 75mm gun. It's more meant as an infantry support tank. This one is got the 76mm gun, which doesn't sound like a big difference, but it's the 76 long versus the 75 short, and that makes all the difference for fighting other tanks. And then that's another 75, another 75. So this is kind of our tank killer for the moment until the tank destroyers get here. So I will go with the strategy of, now one thing you can do, a little unrealistic, but you can do it. You can click, you can say, okay, I want this waypoint here, and then you can click on it, and then you can hit T. And even though the line is coming from the tank, it's actually, think of it as coming from this point. And so we can see that from there, he probably can see that spot or close to it. So if we come down here and do a target armor arc from exactly that spot, he'll hopefully put his eyes right on it, and hopefully we'll see them before they see us, and it's totally possible we could take them out, which would be a good thing to do before committing any of our infantry to an attack across open ground with assault guns. And they're sitting still right now, but they could start moving at any time. So while we know exactly where we are, it would be nice to get a hit in on them. No action here, but I'm going to split off scout team. So instead of sending that whole squad forward, we're going to grab a couple lucky volunteers and send them. Actually, I don't want to send them from that spot. We'll send these guys so that they're not going quite so far. And these guys are going to run up here to this brick wall. If they make it to that wall, they'll be fairly safe there, just to see if anybody shoots at them. And if anyone does, they got a machine gun and most of a platoon of infantry right there to cover them, so it's not all bad. Now the nice thing of doing turn-based is we can focus, we can watch, see what happens right here, and then we can go back over there and see what happened over there. So with this guy selected, I can see that that tank is in his arc, but he doesn't see it yet. When you have them selected, you only see what they see lit up on the map. So he's looking in the right spot, but doesn't see anything. I could have him unbutton, get a little bit better spotting. Alright, we hear some shooting over here. Our scouts did make it and drew a little fire. Oh, and I forgot to give orders to those guys, so managing kind of three little separate things here. So these guys, nothing happened to them still, so we'll send these down. Everybody down, and then scouts will start working their way over here. Now we know there's probably a German unit there. Don't know if there's something before that, but that's what the scout team. They got submachine guns. They'll be fine. Looking at our artillery, so this howitzer, they're done. They still have 96 rounds left. It wouldn't be the worst idea to attempt. Eh, until we have a juicier target, we'll attempt to have those howitzers hit that tank. It probably won't work, but there's at least a chance that they get a direct hit and knock it out, and that would save us a lot of trouble. And then over here, I'll have the rest of this squad move up to join their bros. Because we are on a timer, so we do still want to get moving where we can. And try to at least spot resistance points before our reinforcements get here. And I forgot to unbutton him, but we'll do that on the next turn. These guys got to here, getting shot at a little bit. Now the trouble is these guys have windows. Sometimes those buildings don't have windows on one side, which makes it hard for your guys to shoot out. Ah, one of our scouts went down. Now they're shooting. Yep, cover them. So we know those buildings, as suspected, do have some Germans in them. I'm gonna have him open up. So the commander will pop his head out and get better visibility. And it's gonna be a little risky. Have them move up just a little bit more past the tree line, where hopefully, and then also turn and face that direction, where hopefully they will, well, I guess you can't have them face and have that arc, but I want the armor, I want the front armor facing that way. Alright, we'll try that. Because if we can take that out, then I can roll up my jumbo and he can put some rounds into those houses. We'll do that before any of these guys move further up. And they'll just do a little rifle shooting while we wait. Scout over here, nothing so far. So the squad can follow. And then we'll let these kind of catch their breath per turn. Alright, they see it a little bit. They're thinking there is a tank over there. Are they going to get eyes on it? Come on, put a round downrange. No, they still don't have an ID on it yet, but they at least are aware that there could be a tank there. Infantry over here seem to be doing fine. There we go. Alright, first shot missed, but they do see it. Aiming for another shot. Ah, turn ends. Now we're left in anticipation. We can pop over here and see that they look like they haven't even noticed what they're getting shot at yet. If we can knock that out, then yeah, I can bring the rest of my tanks up. We haven't spotted any anti-tank guns, though there could be one, like back there would be a likely spot. But if we could bring our Sherman platoon up here, just put them on a line, they could do some serious damage and directly support this infantry assault on that side. Things are still going okay over here. Scouts don't see anything. They're getting a little tired, so we'll let them stop right there to catch their breath. And then luckily this tank hasn't been shot at by anything else, but since they just shot, they're going to reveal themselves. So if there is an anti-tank gun out there, they probably see it better now, but we're at least minimizing exposure. Oh, our round did come back. He's got eyes on it now. Hit, but no penetration. Hopefully rattled him. There we go. That looked like a good hit. Nice. Alright, so they managed to knock out. And so we can back up if we want to see that happen close up. We can rewind and watch it. Nicely done. No one else is shooting at them yet, so that's a good sign. This other tank is right there. These guys are still getting shot at. But we're about to help them out. Don't worry, boys. Help's on the way. I don't think that that one could spot our line of tanks over here. So we should be safe to roll them out there. And I'm sorry to these guys taking some hits, but our main objective for them is that since they're depleted, I don't expect them to go on this attack. I just want them out there to kind of draw some fire and set up a start point. And then we'll set up a nice little line right here. That will be able to blast away. We'll have him go ahead and start shooting. At that house, we'll blast those two houses until they're quiet. But we did see that no shooting came from those houses yet. So if we can blast those houses, then we start working our way up through those towards this first objective. And maybe potentially angle back that way also to support these guys. But since we got that hit in, we'll want to adjust. Let's see if we can adjust this one. So it's kind of being gamey a little bit, but we're going to say someone ran over and told him, hey, there is another assault gun right behind that building. Why don't you shift fire to right there instead of wasting it on that tank that's already been blown up? That would be perfect. And these guys are here. Now we're getting where we'll need to be a little more cautious. They're probably potentially going to get shot at by those Germans up there. Have all these tanks roll ahead. There you go. Yeah. Take that. There's artillery round landing over here, so we don't want to start our infantry assault there just yet. So if they get caught out in the open, that could wipe out that whole platoon.
Fire for effect. Over. Adjust fire. Out. Fire for effect. Out.
Getting some good hits on that house. If they're not gone, they definitely have their heads down. We got 33 HE rounds left for them. If we run out, it will be okay if we can use that to push into that objective. You can also use the target briefly to them just to fire for a limited amount of time. If you want to control ammunition expenditure a little bit more. I'll have one fire at that house. And we see that foxholes over there. They can't see it. Almost, but not quite. We'll have the rest of them kind of just park here for a minute and unbutton just to see what they see. I'm going to have these guys get back inside since they've kind of done their job. And that artillery round fell right there, so we can guarantee they're probably about to get hit if they don't get to cover. And those rounds are falling. Oh, so close. Ooh, got him. Nice. Direct hit. Took that guy out. Lovely. That was worth the howitzer rounds to get a lucky direct hit and knock out that assault gun. Even though he hadn't done anything yet, we can anticipate he probably would move at some point, or we would have to maneuver our tanks around a bunch to get an angle on him, like move them all the way over here to the left flank just to get a shot off at him. So that was great. We also blasted that house real good, quieted those Germans. I'm going to clear that target also. And when I open those up, if they take fire, like you might have noticed this guy after he took a round came in close, they'll button back up on their own. You can tell them to, but they're smart enough to say, hey, we're being shot at, I should close this hatch. Now over here, we didn't encounter anything just yet. Could be that that initial artillery actually took those guys out that were there. Possible. Or it could be that there's multiple machine guns up here just waiting for us to move up a little bit closer. I'm going to use these guys on the hunt command. It'll be safer to move through the forest on this side, but if we can get up here and see that there's not any Germans right here, we could just run across that clearing and cover this ground a lot faster. I'm going to be kind of conservative with my Sherman platoon until the next one gets here. Now at the 15th turn we get a whole nother platoon, so then we can be a lot more aggressive, but I'm going to have them just kind of remain in place and hang on to their rounds until we get some better targets. That said, I might move one of them down the road. I say that and then immediately change my mind. I want to move one of them down the road just to get a better angle at this position right here, because that one is going to be firing at my infantry. We kind of need these tanks to support these guys moving up across open ground. And then this spotter, we could call in some more. We didn't see anything from that potential position. That would be a perfect AT gun position. And we could think that maybe our initial attack took them out, or maybe they just haven't fired yet. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings to just fire another short, while the spotter's not doing anything, fire another short burst of 81 millimeter at them, just to either finish them off or keep their heads down. It's always painful when they're turned, sides exposed, the weak armor on the side. That's just the risk you take when they maneuver. You could get a little fancy with the waypoints and have him like back up and then go that way. The pathfinding is not always the best. Yep, so artillery falling here. These guys are gonna stay inside their houses until that's over with. Oh, and I forgot I should have canceled that. But oh well, it was a short one. And it was worth it to take out that assault gun without any casualties on our side. Oh, alright, so that was, yeah, painful. Come on, guys. All I want you to do is drive down the road. And so now since he's doing the other thing, he's too busy to, well, they're done, so that's okay. I could have one of these, since they probably have line of sight. No. If they did, they could just fire on that position. but none of them have line of sight to it, so that's all right. Over here, things seem to be going fine. We'll let those guys catch their breath. We'll move these guys up. We'll move one up here on the right side just to be ready for that possibility. But if it is clear, we could just run right across that clearing and that would be dandy. Nice and quiet for the moment, other than those artillery rounds falling. Good thing we weren't overly aggressive. It didn't have our whole platoon spread out through here getting blasted.
Fire for effect. Over.
Alright, there we got eyes on, so yeah. Running across the clearing, not gonna be the best play.
Roger. Fire for effect.
So at least one little German unit there. But we have a full squad arriving. These guys, let them rest one turn. And these guys also, instead of running over there, we could take the alternate strategy given the slope of the ground right here and have them go right here and hit them. And then one squad could go that way too. We'll wait and see how that develops, and if there's a unit right there that could change our positioning a little. This tank made it up to there. Can he see? No. No, maybe? He can see here, but they're around this little bend. Oh, maybe he can't see. Okay. So the rounds will have to go through some trees, but maybe we can get some in there. And we'll wait one more turn to see if this artillery was over. You can see the loading bar getting a little longer. Kind of gives you a hint that there's going to be more action. One man down here. Artillery falling. They're getting shot at. That's good. Ooh, nice accurate fire. Looks like part of an infantry squad there. Now our guys are kind of recovering. Start shooting back. Sometimes it kind of takes them a second after they get shot at. They hit the dirt, then they got to get back up and start firing. And then once they start firing, the Germans get down. Kind of a little back and forth. Got to get that fire superiority going. We can see, all right, these guys are running for it, so our artillery is working. And then I will switch them to target light just to save the rounds, but save the AT rounds, but send a little bit more machine gun ammo in there. Oop, what do we have here? That is a Panzer IV driving through a tree. Never mind that, but at least one, possibly two, maybe more. We don't know what all is back there. Enemy tanks rolling up, but looks like we already have a round heading towards them. So they came on the left side, but wow, lucky for us, our tanks are perfectly positioned and not otherwise engaged. So that, yeah, that Panzer IV, he got spotted just like that with our little Sherman line right there, ready to engage. This one, he's safe to continue supporting the infantry. And then looks like there was at least one more artillery round hit there, so we won't send those guys out there while a tank platoon is rolling at them. Over here, let's get some more infantry up on the line shooting. And we'll try to overwhelm whatever Germans are up here. If we can send them packing, then we could push. And yeah, if we get into this forest, we could even roll up behind these guys and wipe them out, and find any other defenses along here between the infantry, our infantry, and our supporting units over here. Just clean up this whole line, and then they could get eyes into the village from the side, or like we thought, get up here and cut off this road. At least get a couple of bazooka team. We might only have one bazooka in the platoon, but get that bazooka up there. Okay, let's see what. Oof. Every once in a while, the camera will get a mind of its own. Much longer calculation that time, so you can tell things are getting busier. All right, there's two Panzer IVs up there. Looks like three, so a whole four. All right, we got a whole platoon rolling in. Our guys have another one. They just keep coming. So it's a good thing I rolled them up here and got them online. If they were still waiting back here, would not be ideal. But they're already in position and ready to fire. Jeez. We got these Panzer IVs taking a pounding. Another one gone, or at least hit. Yeah, bad day for them. They just rolled right up the road in open ground, not knowing that I had my guys already positioned, just waiting for something to shoot at. And then over here, we spotted, there is at least one guy there. And they're not suppressed yet. But we're about to get our whole platoon into this fight. Okay, so we're just going to hold position. These guys, they don't need to move out while there's a tank battle happening over their heads. Once that is secure, we'll be feeling much better. Got another penetration. This one's getting in the fight too. You can see a couple of them. Alright, chewing them up. And we'll check on that infantry fight after we watch the tank fight here. If we chew up this is their big counterattack. We can chew them up. That'll make the rest of this mission a lot easier. Just not even let them get into the battle really. Just take them out as they roll in. That one's still coming on. Yeah, we definitely want to rewatch some of this. And sometimes when you have a really good turn, you want to watch it again just to enjoy it. And this is against the AI. You know, if you're playing a human player and they knew you had some tanks parked over there, probably that they're not gonna. Oh, ooh, that was the Tiger. the briefing, I didn't say because I wanted it to be kind of a surprise. The briefing mentioned that there would be a tiger, but we got lucky and just caught it in the side right there. Partial penetration, but enough to get the crew out, knock it out. So yeah, our day just got a lot easier with that tiger knocked out, and looks like 2 platoons of Panzer IVs. If you're playing against a human player, definitely I would have that tiger creeping up and not just rolling straight ahead. But still, bad luck for them of bringing a tiger in and he catches a partial penetration in the side and is knocked out. Looks like maybe one Panzer IV out of, and then nope, not even him. So he died right there at the end. An amazing turn, just knocked out this whole armored counterattack before they even really got going. Beautiful. And I haven't lost any tanks yet, and only minimal infantry losses. So this mission so far going much better than the last couple. Now over here, we'll just see how these guys did real quick. And this is where you can spend a lot of time. This is a 1 hour mission, but if we rewatch, a turn 2 or 3 times, it's taken some time up, but that's okay. Well, now nothing's going on. So it might be that, yeah, we won one out here just in the first few seconds of this turn. Got the whole platoon up here. And these Germans are probably thinly manned. It's probably just a couple, 2 or 3 guys in each spot. But now they got their heads down. Yep, they've got their heads down. We can't see those, but they've probably got their heads down too. So a great turn. And this is a case where we ought to split up one of these squads, but yeah, we'll split off an assault team and send them over here to try to close with them. And well, we'll just use this whole squad as an assault team, but we'll break them up a little bit just to spread them out. Send them up here to try to close with those guys and finish them off. And then, like, these guys, only half the squad really can see what they're shooting at, so we will split them up too, just to get a little finer tuned control of where they're all positioned, and then we can have them come back together. So that's going good. The tank battle went as good as it possibly could go. We wiped out 2 platoons of Panzer IVs and took out the Tiger, which was probably the biggest threat in this whole mission, without a single armored loss of our own. And we've got a couple more turns. We've got a whole another platoon of Shermans and a section of tank destroyers coming, so we'll have a ton of armor compared to the Germans, who, for the moment, as far as we can tell, have no armor. And with all of that going so well, we're going to hit this location again a little bit harder with the general rounds, just to try to knock down some of those buildings. The personnel rounds earlier hopefully took out some of it, but we'll see what we get. And then, since these mortar teams can't see anything from where they're at, I'm going to have them move up a little bit. They're not really doing anything right now. Have them move up to there so they can see. They might get shot up a little bit, but it'll be okay. And with that counterattack defeated, we feel safe. And these buildings having gotten pounded with the tanks back there ready to do some more shooting if they need to, feel safe to start the attack on this side. We'll send one squad up just to see what happens. They'll put a couple more rounds into them just for good measure. Germans over here. Nope, they pop their heads back up to fight some more. And our maneuver element taking some hits. But now those guys are breaking. They got hit with something. Alright, they're on the run. Unfortunately, we did take a few casualties there, but they're all wounded, so it could be worse. They're not killed outright. These guys took a casualty, or at least got hit. So the Germans in that building, they still want to get shot at some more. We can accommodate that. These guys ran for it, but those are still there. Let our infantry just shoot it out a little bit more right there. And where is Jumbo? That looks like he might already be firing. Yep, let's put a round on that house and quiet those guys. Another casualty over there. That'll work right there. Man, they put up some stiff resistance over here. Okay, so they found another machine gun position right there. Now these guys are in a crossfire. We'll try to get them out of it if we can.
Roger, fire mission out. Roger, fire perfect.
Reinforcements arrive. So this guy, let's go ahead and close up before he gets shot in the face. There's a machine gun right there shooting at him. Have him target that house. This one will clear target. That many rounds right into them should have sent them packing. Now it's getting a little tougher over here. This one squad, I maneuvered them up to here. Now they're kind of taking a beating. Well, that one section got wiped out. Those little crosses mean they're just wounded. They're not killed, so that's, could be worse. But they are taking a beating, so they're stuck between in a crossfire, and there's this machine gun here that we didn't spot before. And I don't know if any of my other units are positioned. Okay, Jumbo, he can shift fire. We'll say someone in that tank notices a machine gun blasting away in the woods over there and says, hey, let's support our boys on the right flank. And we can see there's still Germans all on this line here. So before this attack gets too committed, we will knock out what we can see, and then we'll go back here and say, hey, we got flamethrower teams. I don't know if this is a flamethrower kind of map with a lot of open ground between the buildings. But certainly if we find a way to get those guys in, we will. And this is a pioneer platoon, so they're a little different than the regular rifle squads. They have mostly just rifles and not machine gun, not submachine guns, machine guns in their squads, but they do have demolition charges, which if you can get them in close, they can blow up vehicles, they can blow up buildings. Um, can be very effective, but kind of hard to use, especially on a map as open as this. So we'll mostly probably just use them as infantry, base of fire with their rifles, just to kind of add volume of fire. But certainly we can use the tanks that they rolled in on. Another platoon of Shermans with a jumbo in the lead. And then we've also got these M36 Jacksons. So these are kind of later war tank destroyers with big old 90 millimeter guns. They're a few turns late. We've kind of already knocked out the German counterattack. But the advantage for them is that they're really fast. The disadvantage is that they're lightly armored compared to, not that they're unarmored, but they're not as heavily armored as the regular Shermans, but they're very fast. And they're also open topped, so they're more vulnerable to infantry fire. So definitely more of tank destroyer. It's in the name, but uh, they still have a few AT rounds, and they have a machine gun. So we could use them kind of as our tank scouts. Gonna send one way over here just to keep an eye on that road in case any tanks survive or if anything else comes down that road. And probably the other one too, just so they can go together. They can be kind of my eyes out there. And then the other ones, the Shermans, gonna move them up to here. Kind of one annoying thing combat mission is you do have to kind of micromanage vehicles moving through terrain like this, because if I were to just like click there, they would get all kinds of jacked up trying to get there, because they would just go straight at it and they'd end up in the forest. It'd be ugly. So we're just going to move these guys up the road, but oh, so many tanks. Beautiful. And then those pioneers will unload them at some point up here. They can add to our attack, but... And while I'm thinking about it though, what about this little trail? It goes wibbly wobbly all the way down and across and over to here. Would it be a good idea to send a couple of those over there where they could pop out and either help these guys if they're still struggling in a few minutes from now? Obviously they can't go through the forest, but they could go over here and clean up whatever's left of the Germans along the edge of the forest here, and then be positioned to fire into the village from the side. And they could even take some of those pioneers and flames, because the flamethrower guys, probably the forest is the best chance they're going to have of using those flamethrowers. Should I send all the pioneers that way? No, probably not. We'll send 2 tanks that way. So 1 pioneer squad just to add on to the infantry over here. And then the flamethrower guys, in case there's any tough spots, maybe they can creep up and use their flamethrowers. And I don't want to maneuver that many tanks through the forest anyway, so we will have this one go here. I'll have to be very finicky with the waypoints. And we'll see if they can make it. This will be a tough turn right here, but maybe they can do it. Yeah, it's going to take a while for them to get all the way over here. Probably they could go around the other way and get there faster. We'll see. Oop. Delete his waypoints. Working his way down through here. Oh yeah, this might be a waste of time, but having seen that it's an option, it's very tempting to give it a shot. And probably by the time that they finagle their way down through all that, those infantry will be long gone. But that's okay. And then here, these guys, let's go ahead and try to push up a little bit, see if they get shot at. Sorry guys. Computing taking a long time there. Could be that the Germans got reinforcements also. We'll see. Artillery's just, we're just gonna spend a bunch of artillery just chewing up that spot. Hopefully by the time we get there, we've blasted them away. The jumbo silenced that machine gun for the moment. They could just have their heads down, but at least they're not shooting at us anymore. No new threats emerging. Have them just let that tank just keep shooting there at that machine gun. These guys, just give them some time to recover. And then over here, we'll have this element maneuver up through here and see what they see. Probably these guys are all on the run, but don't know for sure. And then we got a little traffic jam going, but that's okay. Sorry, my friend was wanting me to go join him for Helldivers, which is a great game, but we're in the middle of this. I want to get this knocked out. Okay, let's go ahead and send it. Looking good so far. So now I would say we definitely have the preponderance of firepower. It's just utilizing what we've got to accomplish the mission without losing a bunch of infantry. Like these guys, where are they even getting shot from? It'll take a little while for them to get down through there, but they should make it eventually. And these guys are riding on here. They're a little exposed, but I think we might have enough covering fire now that they can just roll on. And we'll use these to reinforce our attack up the middle here. And maybe use the tanks as a little bit closer support. Kind of ease these guys forward just a little to clear the road a bit. And those are still rolling along, not getting shot at yet. And over here, let them keep moving, kind of spread out. I'm going to clear them because I don't want to use up all their rounds. Or we'll switch them to target light. They can just keep putting some machine gun rounds into those foxholes, keep their heads down. Looks like we've got these guys kind of on the run now. Yeah, they're out in the open. Just get them out of those foxholes, into the open, and then pinned where they're not shooting back. Now we have the advantage. Alright, that's going okay. I think because of the angle, these guys can't see them, so we'll move these guys up. This is my bazooka team, so I want to kind of keep them alive if I can. Though I guess that was the armored counterattack over there, so might not need them quite as bad as we thought. And yeah, we're gonna end up just taking the safe route of looking around through the forest here. And this squad, I hate to ask them to do anything after getting them into a crossfire before. Have these guys shift target back to that foxhole right there. And then these guys seem to be okay. So we're going to start pushing our attack here. Nope, nope, I want you right there. We'll get a little more aggressive. And where's their... Oh, okay, yeah, he's right there. This machine gun, I feel like, hasn't even fired a shot, but maybe they have. Oh, when I say move them up, but that looks like an artillery round landing right there. We'll see. We do have to get our attack going at some point, so we'll start pushing them up. These tanks will roll up. They're taking a little bit of fire, but hopefully we can get those pioneers. That'll give us 2 more squads of riflemen who are not going to be our lead assault team, but could still do some solid work shooting at the enemy. And now we've kind of leveled that location. Hopefully we wiped out a few enemy squads there. We still have plenty of 81mm rounds, but with so many tanks available to us, it's kind of a question of where to use those that isn't easier just to get with the tanks. But one spot to use them would be right there, since he can see that. And we will just, sure, we'll wipe out that spot. Run. Yep, get out of there. And over here, looks like they're on the run. You want to sometimes when they're running, you want to press the attack to get them while their morale is rattled and they're out of cover. But of course, you don't want to be overly aggressive and then turn around and smack your guys. It's kind of a tricky balance. And we can hear some like mortar tubes over here. I don't know. That might be enemy mortars firing from somewhere over there. These tanks are coming down the road. So far, that's kind of an aggressive move, but so far working. I will give my pioneers an order to bail out as soon as they get to a stop so that they're not sitting around out in the open. These guys are in position, but they're not doing much of anything. That's okay. Their job is to just watch out for any stray panzers rolling by. These guys are out in the open. Some of them are down. Looks like we took at least one more casualty here. And the guys in this house, man, they just won't give up. But we've got an answer for that. The name of the game in this scenario where we're trying to cover open ground, but we have a lot of firepower, is to just everywhere you see the enemy, just blast them until they're not there anymore.
Roger. Fire for effect.
So you can definitely hear mortar tubes back over here. So if I could push my infantry up through, we could maybe find the German mortars and wipe them out. That would be good. Maybe depending on how this attack goes, if these guys are able to push in. Yeah, so German mortars coming at us. Those guys need to get their heads down. We'll get these guys, they're moving. Yeah, at this point, I know these guys are in a bad spot, but really the only way they're going to get out of it is to push forward. This spot is wiped out, that spot should be just suppressed. Then I have these guys help them. Try to push. If we can push this corner right here, if we could push that, that would be great. And these guys, they're making their way, but it's going to be a few turns still until they get here. But yeah, if that middle attack is going okay, we might push straight through the forest and find those German mortars back here and wipe them out. And then we can roll up towards the road. And then, having wiped out whatever's back here and taken the central location, hopefully, shouldn't be anything at all to roll up the east side there. Usually the trouble is kind of cracking the egg to start. Once you kind of peel back that first layer, it's usually easier going because you've identified the strong points, you bring fire to bear, wipe them out. Some German artillery coming down on us. Don't like that, but it's kind of just bound to happen. No casualties over there, so that's going okay. Oh, mouse spoke too soon. One. But yeah, attacking through that forest, it's just gonna happen. Over here we have a tank crew that was trying to advance. So one kind of flaw in the AI in this game that I guess has never been addressed since like 10 years ago is that tank crews, after they bail out of their tank, they'll try to carry forward with whatever their like AI plan is. Even if that plan thinks that they're in a tank and they're just guys with pistols, they will just go ahead and assault the objective anyway. Alright, so we'll clear these targets again just to see if those Germans are knocked out or if they are going to stick their heads out again. But yeah, it looks like they might be gone for good this time. Over here, these guys did find those Germans, but they're still fighting, so I don't want to risk that bazooka team. So we'll wait for more of these guys to get up here. But we do want to try to get through this initial fight here without taking too many casualties. It's just slow going in that forest. They can't run for too long before they get too tired. Fortunately, these guys seem to have not had too much trouble. We'll let them stick there one more turn before they go across the open ground. And these tanks they're gradually getting up there. Over here, our initial squads are doing okay. So we're going to try to keep pushing. And then the engineers made it, looks like entirely intact, so that's good. And now, since these Germans have dropped off their cargo, they can roll up and provide some closer range fire support. It is a little bit of a risk to bring them in close range to the German infantry, but I've got a whole other platoon back there behind them. So if one or two get knocked out, it's not the end of the world. That section, they are just having bad luck over there. We were thinking those Germans were done for and on the run, and they were not. They were still had some fight in them. Hopefully we can win that firefight. If we get them knocked out, then yeah, I think pushing through and catching those German mortars that are back there, that would be a good use of that platoon. That would end a lot of the fire coming in on these guys. Not all of it, but some of it. And then from there, they could roll up on this corner and take out whatever's left there. So it's kind of going the opposite of what I thought. This attack up the middle is going fairly smooth, while the attack through the forest is kind of bogging down against just that first line of resistance. Alright, our pioneers are here. Like I said, they're mostly just guys with rifles and demolition charges. But they are extra bodies that we can get into the fight here. What is this tank doing? Some kind of craziness. No, I just want you to roll up right there and just be ready to blast any Germans that stick their head up at all. And then I don't like having so many guys out in the open. So they're going to go ahead and keep moving. Don't want artillery to come down on them because like that one shell hit right there, there could actually be a lot of artillery about to hit them. It's kind of the one flaw in this plan is if they do get blasted with artillery, it'll be ugly. And this guy, he's probably safe to go ahead and start shooting if he sees anything. Yeah, it looks like some artillery falling on them. Hopefully not too heavy, but oh, ooh, spoke too soon. Yeah. Oh man, that's what happens when they get caught in the open. That's too bad that that whole squad is wiped out pretty much. And if they'd stayed in that building, they'd be fine. Yeah, I should have listened to myself hearing that there was that artillery coming in and kept them in cover. And have these guys hide, and that will at least improve their chances. While these guys are probably, well, yeah, just leave them where they are. But these guys hold up. They see, uh-oh, let's not go out there. And these guys are probably safer to go ahead and try to run into that building while these guys are going to run over here and get away. And these guys, yeah, they might be safer to just run straight ahead than to stay where they are. So yeah, that I spoke again. I always get myself saying, "Hey, this is going really well," and then that's right when things go bad. We can inclusively, well, we might have got that guy. If they can knock those guys out for sure. Then these guys are probably clear to just start moving through this forest to take out those mortars is probably the best use of them at the moment. And oof, that mortar team that moved up there, they got wiped out. So yeah, the AI will definitely take advantage if they see you, if they see a unit in the open, they'll call an artillery on it, which you can kind of bait it sometimes of send a unit up, let them see it, and let the AI shoot at it to waste their artillery. Oh, we got more howitzer ammo. I didn't know that. What should we do with this? Probably just take out this whole line. Well, if we could. That is probably a not bad use of that
Fire
artillery
mission over.
to just wipe out anything that's on that line. And then that will mean these guys don't need to even bother going over there. Or at least the need will be lessened. That's too bad. Yeah, that artillery is going to spoil this whole infantry assault up the middle. Yeah, that's that whole squad. 2 guys out of 8 survived that burst that just landed right on them. Couple Germans right there. Well, no more artillery falling for the moment, so maybe the worst of it's over. No, of course, there's another one. Another one. Alright, so if those are more spotting rounds, then I'm going to keep these guys in cover. Have them just run for it up there. Same thing, just have them run for it, get to cover in those buildings straight ahead. And I would like to maneuver this Sherman up, but I'm a little worried there might be a AT, just Panzerschreck team hiding in there somewhere. Who knows? But these guys are so far out here that they are probably safe to move up a little bit. And we haven't seen any more German armor show up. And look at that, these guys actually made it, so that's nice. I'm going to send the scout team over to investigate that foxhole, make sure that it's clear. Have them put on hunt to go into the forest here because I have no idea where the Germans who were here ended up. Are they all dead here? Looks like maybe all of them. And then these guys are in position. We might have got all of those Germans also. At least a couple of them right there. We'll give them a turn to rest. Ah, but look, our tanks actually made it through the forest. And as suspected, the battle has already moved on. But they could roll up here. Well, actually, we'll have the pioneers get out, and then they should be safe to run across here, given the current situation. And then the flamethrower teams that can, maybe we'll find someone for them to blast. And then we'll have the tanks pause so that they don't move till the infantry get off. And then there's no use in these tanks trying to roll up into here, so they will just go over here and hit and maybe support our attack up the middle. They can park up here and get a different angle and take out like these guys, which they're running for it maybe, but they can just roll up this right flank, especially if our big artillery comes in and hits any units on this line. These tanks should be safe to kind of roll up through here. Now we've got infantry moving ahead, not getting blasted by any machine guns just yet, so that's good. No more giant barrages coming down on them. And these tank destroyers, they're not the best for infantry support, but they still got machine guns and do have a little bit of HE rounds to help us out.
Request fire mission out.
Everything over there is going okay. Some more artillery falling. Yeah, so no one's going to move here. I think even with them in the building, they still got one hit. Now, I notice even though this video, I don't know how far we're definitely a long time into it. We're only 25 turns into a 60 turn mission, but playing in WeGo like this, usually you're more effective because it's so deliberate of changing and considering orders every minute. Um, your plans tend to be a little bit more organized. You can do more in that 1 minute than if you're playing real time where you're trying to like control multiple. Even if you're pausing, you're still kind of bouncing around between different things. Where playing like this, you have plenty of time to consider what you're doing, and that's annoying. The tanks took off before that squad had a chance to get off. I don't want them running. So, yeah. Nope, circle back. I was thinking they had that pause order. Those infantry should have gotten off before the armor took off with them on the back of it, but whatever. Now there might still be like one German soldier in the forest here, but we're not really worried about that, so we're gonna have them start hunting in that direction. It's unlikely that there's like a German position in the middle of this forest, but there could be. So we'll be cautious for now, and then bring these guys around to reinforce them. And then over here, not going to move anybody till that artillery is over. But these squads that kind of paradoxically, the squads that were furthest forward, like this one, they were the most exposed out on the flank. They actually have the ones who have made it without taking any casualties so far. And those Germans right there can get overwhelmed by our firepower. The ones that were in these houses finally got the message. We did find something to shoot at over here. So that the remnants of that machine gun, they were still there, but our guys got the better of them. Oh man. But looks like there was a Panzerfaust or something over there. Caught that tank in the side. That sucks. All because you didn't let the Pioneers get off the first time. Oof. Well, just imagine riding all the way down this hill, everything going great, saying, alright, you guys just hop off, go over there to our friendly infantry, and then the tank takes off too soon. And then that happens on the way back. A stray German squad over here in this corner gets you with the Panzerfaust, and not only that, the tank explodes. But as you watch this, learn lessons, things not to do, things to be a little more careful about. That squad is totally panicked, so I can't even give them any orders. So out of all of that, I've got one flamethrower team made it out of there in one piece. These guys did some good work, but alright, they didn't run anything yet. I'm gonna give them just the regular move order. Give them a couple turns to just kind of slowly walk through that forest. Yeah, over here, this is just not going. I mean, it's kind of going the way I pictured it, but just uglier than I imagined it would. But at least that's only our first tank loss of this whole fight, so that's better than the previous matchups. But it's a good reminder of why these guys are being aggressive just by being here. Getting any closer, there could just be a lone German with a Panzerschreck take them out in one hit. This machine gun team, I don't know if they're doing any good at all over here, so I'm going to have them pack it up and move up to this house, that would be good. This squad, move up a house, kind of make their way up that block of houses. These guys want to wait one more turn to see if any artillery comes down on them. And my big barrage should start coming down here pretty soon. Somehow, even with that, all of that, a couple of the guys of the tank actually made it out. A round falling there. I don't know if that was my round or their round. Maybe mine. Okay, we'll give them some time to recover. 5 out of the 8 did still survive that encounter. Get these flamethrower teams in up over here just for fun. They always seem great, and then it's rare that you actually get any good use out of them. But I kind of want to, you know? And then these guys, I'm going to have them just get in that foxhole, and they can just kind of hang out here in case any German infantry come wandering by. And this tank, the one survivor, can roll up here. I think that's my spotting round coming down. It's tempting to think, I could just have this tank maybe just make a fast run straight down the middle here. He might make it. He might not. If he could get back in here, he could wipe out whatever German support units and fragments are back here. These guys didn't mean to have them on quick, but yeah, they need to be on. It's tempting to want to just get them up there as fast as possible, but we don't know exactly what they're going to run into, so hopefully it's just German mortar units back there and we can wipe them out and kind of cut into the German morale. Seeing things have settled down over here, we're going to risk sending another squad out. And start moving forward over there. Alright. heavy rounds coming down. Not quite on target, but there's probably at least one German back in there somewhere. And so sometimes that'll happen, your artillery just won't land. I aimed it over here and it's landing over here. And sometimes that just happens. We can try to adjust it, have them aim, re-aim, because that's going to be a waste. Those guys are making it up okay. We're just hitting empty forest back there. That's not doing us any good at all. So, tell him here, try again.
Adjust fire. Over.
That'll waste a little time, but better than all of those rounds being wasted. And these guys, I guess they're just being spooked into moving faster. But they might be about to spot what's over there. That'll be good if they can get some revenge, wipe out those German mortars. This tank, no action so far. We'll have him creep up a little bit. Infantry over here are moving. Seems okay. Move up one more house. Like I said, it's slow going, get in this first objective, but if we get into that one and we roll up this one from behind, then taking the last one should be simple enough. See some artillery falling there. Some falling out there, so that's fine. If they want to shoot at those guys, they can move.
Adjust fire. Out.
And then hopefully we can get that artillery on the line, because that's probably the most significant area of resistance is going to be right in here. One hit there. Oh yeah, so these mortars are firing. So even though these guys are tired, the faster they get up here and get to taking them out, that'll stop some of the artillery falling over here on my other guys. And then these guys have recovered, so they can join these guys. This is going to be my cleanup crew to run up this line. And these guys are going to say screw it. They're going to make a run across this open ground. And seeing that we've cleared this first set of buildings, this tank's going to roll forward to give some close-in support. And then this thing I'm going to wait. Once that line is suppressed, I might move them up to get an angle so they can fire in at any Germans on the backside of these buildings and hedgerows. And yeah, it looks like they're targeting that area with artillery. You just have those guys move next turn, and they'll be fine. Those open top tank destroyers are vulnerable to artillery, but alright, here we go. Maybe we get some sweet revenge over here. it is kind of cool on the scale of the map being this big that it realistically makes sense that there could be German mortars over here firing into the defend this village, and but one platoon of my infantry have crept up through the forest and broken through and are now going to ambush them. And that actually getting up here and taking out these mortars will stop them from landing over there. And I know you guys are tired, but they are actively firing on your rows. So we gotta keep moving up till you get them in sight. And those mortars, I mean, there could be, as you saw my mortar platoon back there, there's a lot of guys in it, but they're not, hopefully not ready to have a whole rifle platoon attacking them. There we go, that's better. Probably real life, those guys, they'd be a little close for that, but we'll say the observer doesn't know that they're there. Alright, got them in sight. About to bring an end to that artillery fire. And we can expect, yeah, we probably will take a few casualties here because there's a lot of guys over here. But we should still have more firepower than them. Alright, we've spotted a Panzerschreck team, but they're already pinned, so that's good. We'll say, hey, shoot that building. Have them go ahead and deploy. Have these guys move up to there. These guys can't see anything where they're at, so they might as well move up. This is just those two guys, but yeah, time to be aggressive. Move, take this objective. And yeah, having seen that there's a Panzerschreck team there, there could be another one, so he'll keep his distance for now. And then up here, hopefully we'll get the fire superiority going. Now, the squad's taking a beating. Pushed them a little too hard. They're tired and fatigued. But that's okay. If you guys can do this, your mission will be accomplished. Now, I kind of want to stop and start shooting, but they're still moving. And they're dropping mortar rounds from here to there, which seems like a really short range for mortars, but maybe. But if they're firing those mortars, they're at least a little bit exposed. And then I'm gonna do the unrealistic thing and have this one tank just kind of go pedal to the metal. and tear off across the open ground here. And these guys gonna reverse out of the artillery that's falling on them. I might have them. Yeah, actually, since I know that doesn't seem like there's any infantry with this movement. That was all just tanks. So those tank crews, all they got is pistols. They're basically no threat. Have these guys roll up. Not a realistic use of tank destroyers, but we're wanting to be a little aggressive here. If we can cut in behind their defense, we can do some serious damage. And our middle assault is now seeming to go pretty good. Wow, that rifle grenade, not even close. Germans are starting to take some hits. This is the fight we should win. We have machine guns and BARs and stuff, and they just have rifles. They do have those mortars, but looks like we've got them pinned. Now they can't fire those at us. And if nothing else, those mortars aren't falling on our other forces now. Alright, that seems to be working now. We've kind of got them taking a lot of fire. And those guys are tired, but all they gotta do is pour into them. This tank's made it halfway, but he's not out of the woods yet, because there's probably some guys here. Could be some guys in that building, which, thinking about that, we'll go ahead and these tanks will be back here, and they're like, well, what are you doing, guy? They'll pour some fire into that building, just to, if there is a Panzerschreck team in there, try to keep them down. These guys can catch their breath for a minute. Ah, Panzerschreck missed. Right here, he made it. Slow down going through that fence. Hopefully if there were any guys in that building, they've been suppressed. They're not going to fire. And then he can come around and finish wiping out these guys. Give my rifle platoon a break. Oh, yep, there's another Panzerschreck. Keep going, dude. Don't stop. Alright, these guys, just keep pouring it into them. Racking up those casualty points. And have Mr. Sherman here. Keep moving till he's in the clear from whatever's right there. These guys can, I wonder if they can even see that spot. Yeah, maybe. Say, hey, there's still Germans hanging out in those foxholes right there. Hit them. And right here, these guys are doing okay. We'll move one squad up. Kind of do the leapfrog thing. These guys are doing all right. They dodged another one. By all rights, they probably should have got knocked out before they made it across there, but they didn't. They made it so far. And the German mortar platoon appears to be pretty much broken. And this Sherman can just kind of roll in and finish him off. And he is the luckiest. I think he's dodged like 4 Panzerschrecks now. Alright, good job guys. You made it. Now you can just spin around and wipe out that what's left of that platoon. And then likewise, these guys. They made it up to here. They see, hey, there's some Germans hiding behind these bushes. We'll wipe them out to cover our infantry over here assaulting. And then the last kind of point of resistance is right here, so we'll keep hammering them. And we might have this thing wrapped up shortly. And look at that, we're into the objective zone. Or at least the first one. Use those big 90mm cannons for something. Beautiful. They are in position. Yep, we're wiping those guys out. No need to do anything different there. Just keep hitting them. My little cleanup crew. Gonna have them start working their way up here. And they're just gonna go check out these foxholes along the line there. This assault into town is going good. There's a couple guys hanging out there, but they're toast. Shift these guys in. They're shooting at something, so... Oh yeah, there's a Panzerschreck team on the back side of this building. They should be able to take care of that. The Jacksons can't see anything at the moment. I'll have them move around a little bit more. And having pushed up to here, probably safe to have these tanks move up a bit. Come up the road to help. And we'll leave those 3 back there, well, that whole platoon back there to keep just providing overwatch. Plenty of action going on, but seems to be mostly going our way at this point. Okay, that guy surrendered. Couple scattered infantry resisting us in there, but that's no big deal. Have him roll up, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's some scattered guys right here that he could wipe out. And yeah, if we could take out what's left of the Germans there while we capture this objective, then that just leaves the road up there, which is just continuing to be kind of the thorn in our side. But that might be a perfect target to just hammer with what's left of our 81mm mortars. Yep. Just let them have whatever we got left. Keep fighting it out in that village right there. Just blasting a whole shell, take out one guy.
Roger. Fire mission request. Out.
Right, these guys, they should just surrender. They just want to keep fighting, so we'll just keep pouring it into them. Move a little closer. Get right in behind that. And then we'll keep pressing. Up the middle here. Give them a hunt order so they'll just kind of creep forward, and then if they do see anything, they can stop and shoot at it. And then these guys, yeah, just have them start walking up through here. Maybe we'll get some flamethrower action. It could happen. And there are some scattered units back there, but at this point, there's no point in trying to run them forward.
Fire mission out.
Run into some resistance here, which was
Fire for effect.
bound to
Over.
happen. Things were just going too smooth right there.
Fire for effect. Over.
So they got off their burst. But yeah, now
Roger.
they're
Fire for
surrendered.
effect.
Caused a couple casualties. There we go. Alright. Made it to a total victory. Well, we took all the objectives, they gave them up. But the main thing was we destroyed a lot of their units, captured a couple objectives, and then did not take too many casualties. About 50 casualties versus their 150. One tank versus 8 tanks. Pretty good day. Forward observer team just hanging out there the whole time. And then, as suspected, yeah, we cleared the village. And then there's just some scattered guys left here. One strong machine gun team right here. But we would have wiped them out as soon as, well, they were broken, so still intact, but not really ready to fight. Wiped out that armored assault over there. Wiped out that mortar platoon. And then, of course, yeah, there was one Panzerschreck guy right there hanging out, and then just some remnants. And a couple guys there that just did not give up. All right, so that was the last mission in the training campaign. I don't know how long this video's gone, quite a while. As you can see, playing one mission in turn-based does take a lot longer than playing it in real time, but the flip side is your plans tend to be much more organized and go off better. Where the last couple of missions I was a little sloppy, took a lot of casualties even in those easy missions that are meant to be training missions. Here, this one, I mean, obviously we have an advantage that we have got a lot of armor, but it still was not an easy mission. You couldn't just roll up. You had to cross a lot of open ground and make some decisions of where to allocate your infantry. And then we did have a lot of armor, but the Germans had a lot of armor too. It just kind of worked out that mine were just positioned perfectly, and they never really got a shot off. If they had come up a little more cautiously, instead of just rolling in a line right down the road, would have definitely caused some trouble. That Tiger could have, taken a few hits and knocked out one or two of my tanks, and that would have been a problem. But as it was, we had plenty of tanks, and we got lucky and just wiped out their whole counterattack before it even got going. So it worked out for us. Thanks if you watched all the way to the end. I hope if you were trying to learn the game, you learned something. If you're just looking to enjoy watching some combat mission, that it was enjoyable. On my last video, I know I had the sound not set right and my voice was drowned out, but I think this time I had it right. But I always like here at the end, kind of take the victory lap of checking out who were your best units. Like this took out 5 tanks, 23 casualties inflicted. And my big fancy M36 Jacksons, they just took out a handful between them all. And then also seeing if any of the German units were contributed, like these guys caused 10 with their artillery. Those mortars, at least the ones I can see, didn't cause much. Sadly, the flamethrower guys, we didn't get them in. We didn't find a way for them to get in the fight, but it was nice to think that maybe they would have found someone in the forest and roasted them. I don't think I've even seen flamethrowers in a while. Our mortars did some good work. Our artillery spotter, he inflicted 28 casualties and took out that Stug 3 with his artillery strike, so that was pretty good on his part. Yeah, so that'll end it. That, I believe, is the end of the campaign. Yep. So we win the campaign. It was the training campaign, but still, it was worth playing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe. If you watch all the way to the end, you should subscribe.